Hey everyone, this is day 9 of my special 31 Days of Halloween, and today I'm going to review the Dr. Frankenstein set from the 1998 McFarlane's Monsters line. This set is part of the Series 2 line of the McFarlane's Monsters toy line. And here's a look at the front of the package. On the front part we can see the McFarlane's Toys logo at the very top, along with the name of the playset. We also see an image of Dr. Frankenstein's two-headed creature, and we can see that this set is part of the Series 2 line of toys. In the middle we can see a windowed area where we can see all of the items that come in the package. And on the very bottom we see the Monsters logo, as well as a small image of the completed set. On the back of the package we can see all 4 of the toys that came as part of the Series 2 line of toys, which include the Phantom of the Opera, the Sea Creature, the Mummy, and finally Dr. Frankenstein. On the bottom part, we see some of the other toys available at the time. These include the Kiss Psycho Circus line, the Spawn movie dioramas, and the Manga Spawn Toys line. Okay, and here's a look at everything that comes in the package. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at each item. Here's the back wall, which also has the 2 electrodes at the very top. This piece will also hold the operating table for the creature. It's got some cool details like the stonework and the 2 metal posts. We also get this translucent blue plastic piece which simulates an electric bolt passing between the 2 electrodes. Next up is this piece which contains a shelf and part of a wall. We can see a small gargoyle at the very top and also a metal hook. This is the operating table, and we can see some scratches on the surface along with some blood stains. The operating table height can be adjusted, as I'll show you later on. There is also this silver metallic support for the table, and it's nicely decorated, and the cool part is that it can double as a storage unit once the top part of the table is attached. This is the floor piece, and it has some detailed wood panels, along with some stonework for the sides. You can also see some blood stains next to the drain. Now this is a rotating table that attaches to the post that comes with the shelf part. It's a cool looking piece where you can place some of the accessories that come with the figure. We also get 4 of these small gray posts, and these will elevate the platform so that you can combine this set with the previously released Frankenstein playset. And here are all of the small accessories that come in the package. We get the 2 gray brackets for the operating table. We get a bone saw, a small test tube, a beaker, another type of container, a flask. We also get the internal organs for the 2-headed creature. We also get this cool looking needle, a hatchet, and finally this piece, which I'm not sure what it is. Perhaps some calipers. Anyway, here's a quick look at the instructions. They are pretty easy to follow, but I did have a bit of a hard time attaching the back wall into the floor part. And here's a look at Dr. Frankenstein. This figure is actually based on one of the toy designers. He's got a metallic right arm that is hooked up to this headpiece by a small tube. I was afraid that this part would break if you rotated the figure's head, but it's actually a pretty sturdy construction. The Doctor has blood splattered on his lab coat, and we also see some pegs on his belt, where you can place some of the items that the Doctor uses. Actually, it's a pretty good looking sculpt, and this is definitely a unique take on the typical Dr. Frankenstein character. He looks like a cyberpunk version of the character. The figure does have some basic articulation. He can rotate his head from side to side. He can raise and lower his arms. He can also rotate his hands, and finally he can twist at the waist. Sadly, there is no leg articulation. And here is the creature. This time it's not the traditional Frankenstein creature, but a two-headed monster that has some tubes still attached to their skulls. This looks like a previous version of the monster that served as a sort of test sample for the doctor. I do like the two heads, the vertebrae, along with the metallic abdomen that pumps some kind of fluid to their heads. The figure is a bit top heavy and has some difficulty standing, but I really like the overall look of the character. I also like all of the bandages and the overall sculpted details on the figure, especially the two different looking arms and hands of the creature. As far as articulation, both of the heads can rotate, and their arms can also rotate up and down. There is no waist articulation, and also no leg articulation. And here's how the creature looks, with the organs inserted into the chest cavity. I have to say that it's a pretty weird detail to include, but it does work pretty well. And here is how the completed set looks. Overall, I think it looks pretty good, and I'm glad we got a proper Dr. Frankenstein figure. And I also like the play feature for the operating table. It works quite well, and I'm glad you can adjust the table. You can also rotate the blue stream of light at the very top. The shelf and the small rotating desk are also nice touches that add play value to this diorama. And here is the best feature of this set. The 4 small posts that were provided allow you to raise the floor so that you can combine this set with the Frankenstein set from the Series 1 line. Here's how the set looks with the 4 posts attached. And here is how both of the sets look once they have been combined. There is no specific attachment mechanism. The sets just basically stand next to each other, but I do like the overall look once they have been combined. I wish there were some stairs or some other way to really make it seem as though the two were better connected. However, I still like the overall look of this playset. They really do look best when they are together, and I'm glad McFarlane's Toys made this possible. Anyway, that is it for my review. Check back tomorrow for another toy review during my 31 Days of Halloween special. Until next time, take it easy.